Hey everyone, this is Kara Crossway Brindle. I started this little mini series by saying, hey, are you someone that can take a compliment? What happens to you if you receive a compliment? Can you actually let that land? So, the first video of this series was all about some ideas as to why this might be so hard to the two generations I was speaking to, which would be the millennial and Gen Z generations. Why are they struggling taking compliments? I had a couple different ideas in our previous video. This video is to normalize what it's like when you receive a compliment and you cannot let it land. So, as a mental health professional, I see this in my office all the time. People are having a hard time allowing those compliments to sink in for lots of reasons. So, what does this look like in real time to know, am I having a hard time with compliments? What am I looking for? Number one, maybe you have an automatic rejection response, which is your body recoils. Some of us kind of like move our hands a lot. So we're kind of like batting this compliment away from us as if we're in a tennis match. What is your body doing when that compliment is coming at you? Maybe that's the language you resonate with. Like, it feels like it's coming at me. It doesn't feel like it's a gift. It feels like it's a weapon. Is there strings attached? Is this empty words, right? So rejection might be a thing that shows up in your body of like, nope, can't even let that land. I normalize this with clients by saying, hey, someone gives you a compliment and they do this little chuckle of like, and they like move their whole body around because they just cannot sit still in the discomfort of the compliment. So notice that if that's you. Humor. Do you find yourself using humor as a shield against a compliment? I had someone say something like, oh my gosh, you're a celebrity in our community, which even saying that on this video is ick for me. And in that moment, when that came at me, because that's what it felt like, I was like, oh yeah, I hope that's not the only thing you heard about me. Like, oh gosh, like try to use humor to deflect it. Some of you, that's your MO. That's your go-to strategy when compliments are being delivered to you, is that you're like, oh, I'm going to use humor. I'm not going to really let this land. I'm going to chuckle, maybe ironically so, or uncomfortably, and move on. So notice if that's you. A third thing I'm noticing with clients and with myself is deflection. Maybe it's literally them going, acknowledged, and what about you? Let's change the subject. Let's ask them a question. Let's move on to something else. So this idea of the deflection being, I'm not sitting in this very long. I'm moving on to the next topic. I'm asking the person who gave me the compliment something else to move the conversation forward. If that is part of your strategy, you too might be struggling with compliments. Last but not least, just the overall avoidance. Maybe you don't even really acknowledge you heard the compliment. You're just like, and next thing. This is what I see most with millennial and Gen Z generation. If they're not literally squirming in their seat in discomfort, they're changing the subject as if they didn't even really hear it. And that could be intentional or that could be subconscious of like, oh, can't take compliments. Maybe I have a family history where compliments were double-edged. Maybe there were strings attached. Maybe it was, I'm going to owe them something later if I receive this compliment or take this as my truth. So notice that for yourself if any of these things are part of your experience with compliments. Rejection, humor, deflection, or avoidance. Very common for Gen Z and millennial generation to have struggles with compliments, even though as humans we want them and it's very human want and need, we cannot let those land. And so being curious about that is part of this series. The last video of the series is what can we do to do better at receiving compliments? Can we take those in? So join me for that video where we talk about some ideas from that mental health lens. I'll see you there.